Dim underground parking garage. Cold air. Echoing footsteps. A black woman in a navy business suit walks toward her car. Calm. Collected. Focused. A white officer steps out from behind a pillar. Gun up. Hands shaking. Officer Briggs, yelling, "Stop. Don't make me shoot." She freezes. Not in fear. In disbelief. Some men pull triggers faster than they pull truth. He circles her. Slow. Predatory. "This car is stolen. Reported this morning. Hands where I can see them." She lifts her hands. No tremor. No panic. "Officer, this is my car. I have the paperwork." Quiet. "You people always have excuses." Her jaw sets. Her eyes stay steady. But this woman wasn't anybody. She was somebody. Just not someone he expected. Heavy footsteps behind them. A tall figure enters the light. Badge on the belt. Face hidden in shadow. A voice, low and controlled. "Officer Briggs, lower your weapon." Briggs stiffens. "Back off. This is police business." The tall man steps closer. Slow. Measured. Unmoved. "That woman you're aiming at is my wife." Briggs' grip loosens. Confusion. Fear. Panic. The man lifts his badge. Special Agent Marcus Hale. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Briggs' jaw falls. The woman raises her chin. Dr. Naomi Hale. Behavioral analyst. Federal consultant. The color drains from Briggs' face. He tries to speak. Fails. Agent Hale steps between his wife and the gun. "You said this vehicle was stolen. By who?" Briggs swallows. A suspect matching her description. Hale's voice sharpens. "Then you should know something." More agents step from the shadows. Silent. Unblinking. Predators in suits. "Officer Briggs, you're under investigation for excessive force, racial profiling, filing false reports, brandishing a weapon without cause." Briggs bolts. Runs. Doesn't get far. Agents take him down in seconds. Handcuffs click. The sound echoes. Naomi looks at her husband. "You always show up at the right time." Hale. "I follow the facts. And the people I love." And just like that, the woman who was almost another headline became the one who would write the report. If you're still here, subscribe and share. Sirens fade in the distance. Briggs is taken away. But the garage stays quiet. Too quiet. Naomi's breathing finally evens. She looks at Marcus. He doesn't smile. He never smiles after a takedown. "They moved early," he says. "You think they knew I parked here?" she asks. He scans the shadows. Someone tipped them off. Someone who knew your routine. Naomi looks back at her car. The driver's side door is slightly open. She didn't leave it like that. A folded slip of paper sits on the seat. Plain. White. No fingerprints visible. Marcus picks it up. Unfolds it. Reads it. His jaw locks. He turns the paper toward her. It says one thing. Phase 1. Naomi's heart drops. So it wasn't random. "No," Marcus says. "They wanted you scared. They wanted this recorded. They wanted the scene to go bad." Footsteps approach. 2 agents. They nod at Hale. One whispers, "There's more. We found something behind the pillar he hid behind. You need to see it." Marcus and Naomi follow. The second pillar. The place where Briggs waited. An envelope is taped to the concrete. Thick. Gray. Industrial tape over the top. Marcus rips it down. Opens it. Inside, photographs. Papers. A report. Stamped with red ink. Preliminary target dossier. N. Hale. Naomi's chest tightens. They're building a case against me. They bring the envelope back to a safe room. A table, cold coffee, fluorescent light, no windows, no surprises. Naomi sits, quiet. Marcus paces once, stops. Agents stand like statues. They spread the photos on the table. Polaroid-style prints. Grainy, close-up shots. One shows Naomi stepping from a lobby door. Another shows her at a crosswalk. Another, worse, shows her by a sedan, hands on the hood. Each photo is labeled. Neat block letters. Red ink stamps. Dates. Times. Locations. Some are wrong. Some are right. Some are staged. A typed memo sits in the middle. Big heading, preliminary target dossier, N. Hale. Under that, motives. Potential leak risk. Questionable affiliations. Unstable under pressure. Language is thin as a knife edge. Designed to fit a narrative. Marcus reads aloud. Short lines. He looks at the team. This is a playbook, he says. They built the story first. Then the evidence. An agent points to a file tucked beneath the photos. It's a stack of receipts. Parking tickets. Coffee shop pay stubs. A laundromat slip. Everything mundane. Everything ordinary. Everything used to make a person look guilty. Naomi touches a receipt. Her fingers don't shake. This is all from the past month, she says. Why would anyone collect this? Because paper tells a story, Marcus answers. You add context. You control meaning. They interview the parking attendant. Old man. Knows the garage like the back of his hand. He remembers Briggs that morning. He remembers the officer's car idling. He remembers a man in a gray suit handing Briggs a folded note. He said keep it clean, the attendant says. Said it was important work. Important work for whom? Marcus asks. The attendant shrugs. Said something about a consultant. The name sounded like Price. Price Solutions, he mumbled. They write the name down. Price Solutions is a consultancy that does training. Teaches cops how to handle tense stops. Sells reports. Sells confidence. Marcus calls an old contact at the city procurement office. He asks about Price. The contracts are public. Price has billed the city for training sessions. 4 overtime reviews. 4 community engagement. But somewhere in the chain, a line item reads, Special Services. Vague. Convenient. They push further. They find a small stack of checks behind the memo. Handwritten. Numbers in the thousands. Payee, Price Consulting. Signature, a name that matches a donor who sits on a civic board. The same donor who throws fundraisers for precinct leadership. This is dirty work. It moves slowly. It smells of old money and new favors. Naomi reads a note scribbled in the dossier margins. A shorthand phrase, Phase 1, create noise. Under it, plant witness. Create escalation. Under that, a list of names. A column labeled witness strength. One name stands out. Familiar. Too familiar. A woman Naomi once tutored years ago. A volunteer from a neighborhood watch. A woman named Darlene Marks. Naomi's mouth goes dry. She remembers Darlene's face in passing at a community meeting. Kind eyes. A soft voice. A volunteer with a clipboard. A person you'd trust with your keys. Marcus looks at her. He doesn't need to ask. They track Darlene down. She lives 2 blocks from the precinct. A tidy house. A porch swing. She answers the door in slippers. She smiles like someone who believes in the good of people. They ask her about the day. About the night Naomi's car was reported. About who saw what. Darlene's smile falters. She looks down. I remember seeing her. she stammers. But what? Marcus leans in. Darlene's eyes flick to the street, then back. They paid me, she says. A man gave me $50 and asked me to say I saw the woman acting strange by the car. He said it was for civic duty. Said they needed my help to keep the neighborhood safe. $50. A plastic envelope. A script passed like currency. Marcus writes it down. Darlene tells them the man in the gray suit gave her a card. The card had Price's logo. They ask Darlene to come down to the station for a recorded statement. She agrees. She is shaking when she signs the paper. She says she was scared. She says she didn't think it would go that far. This is how the system bends. Small payments. Small lies. Big consequences. They subpoena Price's invoices. The company obliges under pressure. They find a trail of consulting fees paid on dates that match overtime logged by officers. Cash payouts coded as event reimbursements. One check stands out, made out to a civic charity, routed through a shell nonprofit. The same donor shows up again in the chain. Marcus sees a pattern. He feels the bruise of it. They sit with Naomi in a conference room. Paper cups. Cold pizza. The dossier between them is like a map. She's trying to make me look like someone who would do this on purpose, Naomi says. Like I'd park, then leave, then sneak back in the night. They picked you because they could, Marcus says. Because you fit a loose profile they can exploit. Because they thought you wouldn't fight. Naomi's voice is low. They thought wrong. They bring in a detective who used to work Vice. He knows how to read a manufactured scene. He examines the photos again. He points to little things, a scuff on a shoe that doesn't match the pavement, a cigarette but in a position that suggests staged movement, a coffee cup with lipstick that doesn't match the woman in the photo. It's sloppy, he says. But not amateur. It's made to be believable to someone who doesn't look too close. They map the logistics. Who could have planted the car? Who could have paid the witnesses? Who had access to paper, seals, and the willingness to lie? Marcus calls the precinct chief. A cordial exchange. The chief claims surprise, offers cooperation, promises internal review. But Marcus knows charm. He knows how people sing to keep their reputations. He asks for a list of officers on duty that morning. He asks for overtime logs. He wants to see who had contact with Price the week prior. The chief agrees. 2 days later, a clerk brings a cardboard box to Marcus's office. Inside, timesheets, shift notes, a bundle of internal memos. Somewhere in the pile, a phone message, a scribble, meet Price rep, 0600, garage. Marcus frowns. The handwriting is the precinct captain's. It's casual. It's damning. They follow the money further. Checks to Price. Cash reimbursements. An expense account showing payments for community liaison and external training. The ledger for a private security firm contracted to watch certain events. The security firm's van was seen near the garage the night of the stop. The driver remembers a man in a gray suit exchanging a paper bag. He remembers Briggs taking it. The case grows. It breathes. It digs its teeth in. At midnight, Marcus lays out the plan. They will move quietly. Secure the records. Serve subpoenas. Freeze the accounts. Expose the chain from donor to Price to precinct. Naomi folds her hands. She seems smaller in the room, more deliberate. She says, if they want a fight, we'll give them a fight. Marcus nods. We will follow the paper, he says. Paper doesn't lie as easily as people. It can be traced. They don't know how wrong he is about that. Later that night, Naomi checks her mailbox. A habit. Old. Grounding. She pulls out a single manila envelope. No return address. Inside, a single photograph. It's a photo of her standing in line at a hardware store earlier that week. Someone took it from across the street. The picture is close enough to show her face. Close enough to know where she buys soap. On the back, in neat block letters, "Stop digging." Under that, a date was circled in red. The date is the morning of her scheduled public hearing. She slips the photo back in the envelope. She does not show Marcus. She texts him one word. "They know." He replies, "Keep the photo. Don't go alone tomorrow." She types back, "I never do." Then she looks at the dossier again. At the names. At the money. At the gray suit. At the list of witness strength. She folds the papers. She feels, for the first time, the weight of being a target. Outside, a siren wails. A city moves on. People sleep. People watch. Someone is already setting the next act. If you're still here, subscribe and share. Dawn breaks slowly. Gray light. Quiet street. Naomi stands at her doorway holding the key. Brass. Heavy. Cold. A tag. Park Level B. Door 7. She flips it between her fingers. Not a message. A command. Marcus arrives minutes later. No sirens. No jacket. Just a man with a controlled storm behind his eyes. He sees the box. The key. He exhales once. Where was it left? Front step, Naomi says. No camera caught the drop. Marcus nods. He already knows what that means. Someone walked right up to her door. Comfortable. Confident. Close enough to knock if they wanted. He pockets the key. We don't open their doors. We wait for them to open ours. But Naomi shakes her head gently. No. They want me scared. They want me chasing shadows. I won't give them that. Marcus looks at her for a long moment. Then he nods once. We go together. Park Level B is colder in daylight. More sterile. The kind of cold that comes from concrete, not weather. Agents fan out behind them. Silent. Weapons are low but ready. Door 7 sits flush with the wall. Gray metal. Old paint. A single reinforced hinge. No markings except a faint scrape, like someone dragged something heavy through. Marcus tests the air. Listens. Then motions to Naomi. Your choice, he says. She steps forward. Slide the key in. The lock clicks. Too smooth. Too eager. Door 7 swings open. Dark. Stale. Not a room. Not storage. A corridor. Thin. Long. Concrete walls with water stains. Dim maintenance bulbs flicker overhead. Someone wants us down here, Naomi says. Someone wants us isolated, Marcus corrects. They move slowly. Boots echo. Breath echoes. Even their thoughts echo. Halfway down the corridor, Naomi freezes. A sound. Soft. Metallic. A faint clinking. Marcus steps in front of her. Agents fan out. The corridor ends in a small utility room. Inside, a table. A single chair. A hanging light. Flickering. A stack of manila folders. No people. Just the sense that people were here moments ago. Naomi lifts the top folder. Her own name stares back at her. Hail, Naomi. Behavioral consultant status. Red threat level. Operational. Paper trembles in her hand, though she doesn't. Marcus opens another folder. His breath sharpens. Inside, photos of their home. Front porch. Bedroom window. Kitchen. Even their bathroom window. Angles that only someone standing close could capture. Naomi flips another page. There it is. A page titled Primary Objectives with bullet points. Discredit. Isolate. Escalate. Remove. Remove. Naomi whispers. Marcus's face darkens. That means exactly what you think. Agent Rubin steps into the room. There's something else, he says. He points to the corner. A small black box, about the size of a shoebox. Red light blinking slowly. A device, not tech, not cyber, but old school. A tape recorder. Real tape. Analog. Retro enough to avoid detection. Marcus presses play. Static. Then a voice. Male. Calm. Confident. Phase 1 successful. The woman reacted as predicted. Husband's interference expected. Phase 2 begins Friday. Ensure she attends the hearing. Let public pressure work in our favor. Do not engage prematurely. Click. The room feels smaller. Naomi swallows. Friday is tomorrow. Exactly, Marcus says. They want you at that hearing. They want an audience. Naomi closes the file. Her fingers dig into the cardboard. So we go, she says. And we flip the script. Chief Landon reads the morning paper at his desk. Coffee. Suit pressed. A man who thinks he still controls the narrative. He doesn't see Marcus until the door clicks shut behind him. Agent Hale, the chief says, trying to mask irritation. No appointment. Didn't need one, Marcus replies. He places the folder on Landon's desk. The chief flips through. His face goes from smug to stiff to pale. These are serious accusations, the chief says. Not accusations, Marcus says. Evidence. The chief clears his throat. We can conduct an internal. No. You don't get to run your own investigation. Not this time. The chief tries to smile. Fails. You're digging in places that cause tension, he says. You're dragging the precinct into political mud. Marcus steps closer. Someone in your chain authorized a multi-step operation against my wife. Someone gathered surveillance. Staged evidence. Paid witnesses. Chief Landon exhales slowly. You think I'm involved? I think you're nervous, Marcus says. Which tells me enough for now. Marcus leaves the chief staring at the door. Hands shaking. Coffee untouched. That afternoon, Darlene Marks calls Naomi in tears. They came to my house, she whispers. 2 men. They stood on my porch. They told me to stop talking. They threaten you. Naomi asks. They didn't have to, Darlene says. They just stared. They said, stay loyal. Then they left. Naomi closes her eyes. This isn't a case anymore. It's a hunt. Darlene sniffles. I'll still testify, she says. They won't scare me. Good, Naomi says softly. Because we're not backing down either. The Hale house is quiet. Too quiet. Marcus sits by the window. Gun on the table. Eyes on the street. Naomi walks over. Places a hand on his shoulder. We're ready, she says. We're walking into their trap, he replies. Yes, Naomi says. But this time, we walk in with the lights on. Marcus finally looks at her. Something in his expression softens. You know they're going to try something tomorrow, he says. I know, she answers. And that's why we go. Because running won't save us. But exposing them might. Marcus nods slowly. They wanted a target, he says. They're about to get a witness instead. Morning arrives sharply. Cold. Unforgiving. A day built for tension. The courthouse steps buzz with reporters. Cameras. Microphones. Questions loaded like bullets. Naomi stands at the bottom of the steps. Navy suit. Straight posture. Not a hint of hesitation. Marcus stands beside her. Jaw locked. Eyes cold. One hand resting near his belt, just in case. Agents flank them. Not obvious. Not loud. Just there. That's how you survive wolves. Not with fear. With presence. They move toward the entrance. Flashes erupt. Questions fly. Dr. Hale, did you file a report? Is it true you resisted? Is the precinct corrupt? Did you provoke Officer Briggs? Is your husband interfering with a local investigation? Naomi walks right past them. Not a word wasted. Not a glance thrown. Some battles require silence. Some require truth. Some require witnesses. The small hearing chamber fills fast. Council members. Observers. Officers in uniform. A few men in suits, expensive suits. One of them, Leonard Price. Gray suit. Sharp jaw. Eyes that calculate instead of blinking. Naomi sees him in the back row. He smiles. A slow, controlled, confident smile. He lifts 2 fingers in a small wave. Almost polite. Almost mocking. Marcus clocks it. He nudges Naomi slightly. "Don't look at him," Marcus murmurs. That's what he wants. But Naomi looks straight ahead. Councilwoman Rivera chairs the meeting. Tough voice. Sharp eyes. Someone who hates disorder. She bangs the gavel. This hearing will determine whether Officer Briggs' use of force was justified and whether any falsified information influenced the stop. The room murmurs. Some supportive. Some hostile. The precinct sends a lawyer. Young. Neat. Overconfident. He stands first. Officer Briggs responded to a credible report of a stolen vehicle. My client was following the procedure. The situation escalated because the civilian, Dr. Hale, matched the suspect description. Marcus leans toward Naomi. They're sticking to the script. She nods. They're predictable. That's their flaw. The lawyer continues, any inconsistencies in paperwork are clerical errors, not intentional misconduct. A lie dressed as a typo. Councilwoman Rivera turns. Dr. Hale, you may speak. Naomi rises. Calm. Collected. Dangerous in her quiet. She steps to the podium. People lean forward. On the morning in question, she says slowly, I walked to my car after leaving a meeting. She breathes. Short. Controlled. The room holds still. A man stepped out from behind a pillar with his weapon drawn. He accused me of stealing my own car. He refused to check my registration. He refused to run my plate. He refused to listen. Someone in the back whispers, that's not procedure. Naomi continues. When my husband arrived, the officer escalated further. Not because of evidence. Not because of a threat. But because he had been primed. Councilwoman Rivera, primed by who? Naomi lifts the manila folder from the table. The same one from door 7. I believe this operation was not Briggs acting alone. Someone prepared a dossier. Someone planted witnesses. Someone paid people to create a false narrative. Gasps. Whispers. Eyes dart to the back row, where Price sits perfectly still. Naomi lays the folder on the table. This, she says, is proof. The council leans in. Lawyers scramble. Officers whisper to one another. Marcus watches them all. He sees the shift. Fear. Recognition. Guilt. Truth is loud even when whispered. The precinct lawyer stands. Objection. That evidence was obtained illegally. No, Marcus says, rising. His badge flashes. Evidence obtained under federal authority. You may continue, Dr. Hale. The room falls silent. Naomi opens the folder. She spreads the documents. Photos. Receipts. The remove list. The taped objectives. The surveillance shots. The hearing explodes. People yell. Council members demand order. Reporters scribble like their life depends on it. Councilwoman Rivera bangs the gavel. Quiet. The room falls still. Rivera's eyes lock onto Naomi. Dr. Hale, this is disturbing. Do you know who coordinated this operation? Naomi looks toward the back row, toward Price, toward the man who waves $50 bills at frightened volunteers, toward the man whose smile always looks rehearsed. No, she says. But I know who benefits from it. Price crosses his arms, smiles again, but his eyes betray him. Narrow, cornered. A door opens at the back of the chamber. 2 federal marshals step in, black jackets, sidearms, blank expressions. The room freezes. Price straightens in his seat. Marcus whispers, "Stay still." The marshals approach the front of the chamber. The lead marshal hands a document to Councilwoman Rivera. Rivera reads it. Her face goes stone cold. "This hearing is temporarily suspended," she announces, "at the request of the U.S. Attorney's Office." Naomi blinks. Marcus turns. "What?" she whispers. The marshal steps forward. "Dr. Hale, Agent Hale, you need to come with us." The entire room inhales sharply. Marcus stands. "Under what authority?" The marshal responds. "You've both been listed as subjects in an active investigation." Whispers explode. Cameras flash. People gasp. Marcus steps forward, fury in his voice. "You're investigating us?" The marshal nods. "Someone filed a federal complaint 30 minutes ago, accusing you both of tampering, coercion, and evidence manipulation." Naomi's pulse stops. Cold. Sharp. Someone set them up again. Someone moved faster. Someone planned this moment. Marcus whispers, "They flipped the script on us." Naomi stares ahead, jaw set. "No," she says. "We flip it back." The hallway outside the hearing room is colder than the garage ever was. Concrete. Glass. Silent spectators staring like they're watching the opening scene of a slow-burning tragedy. 2 U.S. Marshals walk Naomi and Marcus through the corridor. Not handcuffed. Not arrested. Just detained for questioning. The kind of polite wording that hides a blade. Marcus leans toward Naomi as they walk. They moved fast. Too fast. Naomi nods once. Means they were waiting. Means they planned the timing. Means they wanted an audience. She feels eyes burning into her back. Whispers follow them like shadows. Is she guilty? Did they fake evidence? What's really going on? The courthouse hums with suspicion. Exactly what Phase 2 is meant to create. They're escorted into a small interview room. Neutral walls. Neutral chairs. Neutral air. Nothing in the room is warm. A federal investigator walks in. Tall. Glasses. A calmness that feels staged. "Agent Hale. Dr. Hale," he says. "My name is Investigator Rowan. I'm here to follow up on a series of complaints filed this morning." Marcus crosses his arms. "Filed by who?" Rowan opens a folder. "You two are accused of witness coercion, interference with a local investigation, and fabricating evidence." Marcus lets out a single humorless breath. "Who filed it?" Rowan flips a page. "Leonard Price." "Of course." Naomi's jaw tightens. "He filed it while we were in the hearing." Rowan nods. "That's correct." Marcus steps forward. "He staged evidence, paid witnesses, manufactured a case. He's been running an operation against my wife." Rowan raises a hand. "Agent Hale, I'm not here to argue. I'm here to listen." But his tone says he already picked a side. Rowan opens a second folder. Inside, printed photos. The same ones from the dossier, but rearranged, relabeled. Naomi's stomach turns. Rowan slides one toward her. A photo of her near a sedan. Paper clipped with a label, "Interference." "That photo is staged," Naomi says. "Planted." By who? Rowan asks calmly. By price, she answers. We found the setup room under the garage. Door 7. There were surveillance photos of my home. A list labeling me as remove. A tape recorder with instructions. Rowan closes the folder. Dr. Hale, do you have any physical proof of this room? Marcus cuts in immediately. We have a tape. A full dossier. We collected it this morning. Rowan nods very slowly. Yes. About that. He reaches for another document. A single sheet. We sent a team to examine the location. Door 7. He looks at them. Expression unreadable. There was nothing there. Naomi stiffens. That's impossible. Rowan continues. No files. No table. No surveillance photos. No tape recorder. No folders. No evidence of recent use. Marcus steps forward. You're lying. No, Agent Hale, Rowan says coolly. I'm telling you the team found nothing. Naomi's pulse pounds. She knows what happened. She feels it in the pit of her stomach. Someone cleaned the entire scene. In less than 3 hours. Erased everything. Phase 2 wasn't just about accusing them. Phase 2 was about resetting the board. Rowan steeples his fingers. Do you have the dossier with you now? Marcus hesitates. Just a fraction of a second. But Rowan sees it. Marcus lifts his bag. Removes the manila folder. The original dossier. He places it on the table. Rowan opens it. Slowly. Carefully. The first page is blank. Rowan flips again. Blank. Flips again. Blank. Flips faster. Blank. 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 Naomi's heart slams against her ribs. No, she whispers. Marcus grabs the folder from Rowan and flips through it himself. Every page is empty. Every document was wiped. Every photo is gone. The entire folder. Clean. Like it had never contained anything. What did you do? Marcus growls. Rowan raises an eyebrow. We didn't touch your evidence, Agent Hale. Naomi shakes her head. No. Someone switched it. Someone stole the real file. Marcus looks at his bag. The zipper is slightly off. Only by a hair. Someone accessed it. Someone swapped the folder while they were being escorted. Someone professional. Fast. Silent. Rowan closes his notepad. At this time, he says, we are recommending temporary suspension from field operations for you, Agent Hale. And protective watch for you, Dr. Hale. Naomi's voice drops to a whisper. Protective watch? Or surveillance? Rowan doesn't answer. After hours of questioning, they're released. Not cleared. Just let go. Outside the federal building, dusk falls heavily. Marcus runs a hand over his face. They erased the evidence. Replaced the file. Cleaned the room. Filed complaints. All in one day. Naomi stares ahead. They knew exactly where we'd be. Exactly when. She turns slowly. Looks across the street. A black SUV sits parked. Windows tinted. Engine running. A man in a gray suit sits inside. Sunglasses on. No expression. Price. He lifts a hand. A slow wave. Like before. Then he taps his wrist. A silent message. Time's up. The SUV pulls away. Marcus's phone rings. Unknown number. He answers. Who is this? Static. Then a voice they both recognize. Officer Briggs. Breathing hard. Shaking. Terrified. They're coming for me, Briggs whispers. They're tying loose ends. Gunshots in the background. Briggs screams. The line cuts. Naomi covers her mouth. It feels like the ground just shifted under them. Marcus pockets the phone. This isn't about the hearing anymore, he says. Naomi nods slowly. No, she whispers. It's war. If you're still here, subscribe and share. Night drops fast. Heavy. Suffocating. The kind of night where quiet feels like a threat. Naomi and Marcus sit in their SUV, parked 2 blocks from their home. Not moving. Not speaking. The paper with the words, Phase 3 begins tonight, sits between them like a live wire. Marcus breaks the silence. They're escalating because they're losing control. Naomi's voice is low. No. They're escalating because they think they've won. Marcus checks the mirrors. Empty street. Still night. But both of them feel eyes. Something's coming, Naomi whispers. He nods. Be ready. Then, a buzz. Naomi's phone lights up. Unknown number. A video message. Marcus grabs her wrist. Wait, don't. Too late. The preview autoplays. It's Officer Briggs. Alive. Barely. He's sitting in a chair. Hands tied. Face bruised. A man behind him, face out of frame, holds a gun to his neck. A deep voice says, Phase 3. Remove liabilities. Gunshot. Briggs falls out of frame. The screen goes black. Naomi drops the phone. Her hands tremble for the first time. Marcus leans in. Listen to me. You are not next. Not tonight. Not ever. But Naomi isn't afraid. She's furious. They're killing everyone tied to the operation, she says. Everyone who knows too much. Everyone who might testify. She looks out the window. Their plan ends tonight. One way or another. Headlights appear at the far end of the street. 3 cars. No plates. Tinted windows. They roll slowly. Very slow. Marcus starts the engine. No sudden moves. They're watching. The cars stop directly outside the Hale house. A man steps out of the lead vehicle. Gray suit. Smooth walk. Confident like someone who thinks the night belongs to him. Price. 2 more men exit behind him. Black coats. Gloves. Weapons concealed, but not well. Naomi exhales. So this is Phase 3. Marcus grabs his phone. Backup is 3 minutes out, he says. We only need to survive until then. Naomi shakes her head. No, we don't survive. We end this. She opens her door. Naomi. Marcus grabs for her arm. Too late. She's already walking. Walking straight toward Price. Price smiles when he sees her. A slow, vicious smile. Dr. Hale, he says softly. You're early. Phase 3 wasn't scheduled until midnight. Naomi doesn't blink. You staged a stolen car. You paid witnesses. You built a fake dossier. You tried to kill Briggs. And now you're here. Price shrugs. Some cases require cleanup. Naomi steps closer. You know what your real problem is, Price? What's that? He asks. You think people break easily. Her eyes sharpen. But I'm not one of your paper targets. Price's smile falters. Marcus appears at her side. Gun drawn. Ice in his eyes. Step away from my wife, he says. But Price lifts his hands slowly. Not to surrender, but to signal. 2 men from the other cars step forward. Guns raised. Silencers attached. Aimed directly at Naomi. Price whispers. You should have walked away. Marcus shifts, placing himself between the gunman and Naomi. No, Naomi says behind him. We don't back off. Not now. Not ever. A single siren wails in the distance. Growing louder. Price's men turn their heads. Just for a second. But a second is enough. Marcus moves first. He fires at the streetlight overhead. Glass shatters. The entire block goes dark. Gunshots erupt instantly. Muzzles flash like lightning in the pitch black. Naomi dives behind a parked car. Marcus rolls under another. Price shouts orders in the dark. Find them. No witnesses. But Price made a mistake. A big one. He forgot who he was hunting. Marcus Hale isn't a desk agent. He's field. He's a muscle. He's survival instinct sharpened into steel. He moves through the dark like he owns it. One gunman tries to flank. Marcus disarms him, slams him into the pavement. Silence. Naomi, still behind cover, spots movement. A second gunman rounds the car. She grabs a fallen weapon, stands, and aims. Her voice cuts the night. Drop it! The man raises his gun instead. Naomi shoots. One bullet. Clean. Controlled. He drops. Price steps back in horror. This wasn't phase 3. This was a collapse. Sirens flood the street now. 4 cruisers. 2 unmarked sedans. Agents run in. Floodlights ignite. Price freezes. Stares at Naomi with venom. You have no idea, he starts. But Marcus steps out of the shadows behind him. And you're done talking. He grabs Price. Slams him onto the hood of a cruiser. Handcuffs click. The sound echoes like justice. The news spreads fast. Consultant arrested in federal frame-up scheme. Officer Briggs confirmed victim of silencing attempt. Internal review investigates precinct leadership. City contracts under scrutiny. Price faces federal charges. Conspiracy. Obstruction. Attempted murder. Racketeering. The precinct chief resigns. The donor who funded the operation disappears from public life. Witnesses come forward. One after another. The truth rolls like a tide no one can stop. Naomi sits in a quiet courtroom weeks later. A victim impact statement in her hand. But she doesn't read a word. Instead, she lifts her chin and says, I survived because I refused to be silent. And because I had someone who refused to leave my side. But no one should have to survive their own justice system. A thin silence hangs. Then applause fills the room. Not loud. Not wild. But real. That night, Naomi and Marcus walk out of the courthouse hand in hand. The world feels lighter. Safer. Honest. For once. Marcus smiles at her. Proud. Relieved. But as they reach their car, a gust of wind lifts something from the windshield. A small white card. Naomi catches it. 2 words written in neat, sharp handwriting. Phase 4. She looks up. The street is empty. Marcus steps closer. What does it say? She hands it to him. He reads it. Jaw tightens. Naomi whispers, This isn't over. Marcus answers, No. But now, they're the ones afraid. If you're still here, subscribe and share.